All right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? I want to salute Adrian Wojnarowski. He is the head reporter on this story. This information is coming specifically from the best NBA reporter out there. So Woj has been covering this Minnesota and Miami trade for Jimmy Butler that's out in the atmosphere that we don't know if it's going to get done before the season starts or not. We just don't know at this point. Now, I've been giving you guys information after information as I get it. And over the weekend, a lot happened. All right, let me kind of break this down to you. So there are a few things that Minnesota wants, and they're getting more and more stubborn by the day in what they want. My opinion is Minnesota is losing leverage by the day, but according to Woj, Minnesota is acting like they're gaining leverage and actually asking teams for more. Here's why I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves are losing leverage. I got 3 reasons. We're getting closer and closer to the season. Jimmy Butler ain't even showed up for a preseason game, let alone does he plan on playing in the regular season. All right, that's the first reason. The second reason, in regards to the amount of teams that are interested in Jimmy Butler, it's not a lot. All right, and the third reason, you pretty much only got Miami negotiating with you at this present time. So, I mean, you can't be just acting. The only other team that's negotiating with Minnesota right now for Jimmy Butler is the Houston Rockets, which makes no sense at all to me. According to Woj, that's the only other team. I don't even understand how the Rockets would even pull a deal like this off, even with a third team. I would have to believe that a 4th team would be involved if the Rockets are going to pull a deal like this off. I just don't believe they can get it done. But their GM, Daryl Morey, is always actively looking to make his team better, and he lives by numbers. So that's the breakdown why the Rockets are interested, even though they got Carmelo Anthony this summer. Now, in regards to what happened over the weekend between Minnesota and Miami had been stuck on not giving up Josh Richardson in a deal. It had been their pet peeve. We don't want to give up Jay Rich no matter what. We like Jay Rich. We think Jay Rich could be the next Jimmy Butler in a couple years. If you look at their trajectories, it's close. Jimmy Butler is probably a point or two more than what Josh was in this season that Josh is at right now, maybe a assist or 2 more. I think Jimmy B's overall a better player. He's got a better build to him and everything like that. But Josh comes with less baggage, and you can get him for pretty much a third of the price that you're paying Jimmy Butler. So I get why the Heat want to hold on to Josh Rich. He's good in the locker room as well. He gets along with his teammates. Jimmy B, not so much, all right? Now, Miami have finally said, okay, all right, Minnesota, y'all convinced us. Jimmy Butler is worth giving up Josh Richardson. So the deal was going to be Josh Richardson, Bam, and maybe a pick or 2. Maybe Miami's first-round pick in the future. Minnesota lost their mind, all right? Not only do they want to attach Gorgie James' contract, and that does happen around the league when teams feel like they're doing a solid one for another team. And in Minnesota's mind, they feel like they're giving up one of the best two-way players in the league, and they're doing any team that they trade with at this point in time a favor. So they look at it like, you should be happy to be getting Jimmy Butler. Any team that we do business with, you're going to have to get Gorgie James' contract. Now, Miami isn't 100% pissed about that. They're like, we don't want Gorgie James, but they'll take it. That's not the thing that's stopping this deal. What stopped this deal over the weekend, because trust me, things got real. Miami and Minnesota have already exchanged Jimmy Butler's medical records. So trust me, when you get to that point, things are getting real. After Miami finally said, okay, Minnesota, we'll give you Josh Richardson. We don't want to, we'll give him up. According to Woj, Minnesota went crazy. So the new deal that Minnesota wants from Miami includes not only Josh Richardson, not only Bam, they want Kelly Olynyk, Goran Dragic, Justice Winslow, and a number 1 pick. Now, I like Jimmy Butler. I don't love him. I like him though. I don't know if Jimmy Butler is a winner in this league. And certain guys are, certain guys are not. Right? Like, I don't know if Jimmy B's a winner in this league. To give up, essentially gut my roster with the season about to start in less than 10 days, damn near less than a week, I just don't think he's worth it. If Russell Westbrook is on the market, I'm making that happen. If Of course, the guys like LeBron or KD or Steph are on the market. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll gut my roster because when you bring in a guy like LeBron, KD, Steph, or Russ, it's going to be a regime change anyway. A guy like Jimmy Butler, I don't think I can do all that. And I think Minnesota's losing their mind. I think it's a sign of arrogance by their owner. Honest to God, true. Them even being in this situation to begin with is, to me, their owner being arrogant. Remember, Thibodeau doesn't want to trade. Thibodeau's the coach and the VP. He's had Jimmy Butler for now. This is his second stint with him. He had him in Chicago. Remember, Thibodeau doesn't want to trade Jimmy Butler. The owner is on Tibbs' back like, no, he don't want to be here in Minnesota. Trade him. Get him out of here. Now, I don't know if Glenn Taylor realized he's the owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves and not the Golden State Warriors right now. And it's freaking cold as hell in Minnesota. But I don't know why he feels as if though Minnesota is one of these prestigious championship contending organizations. They ought to be happy for any star that they get in town. But he felt as if though it was a slap in the face that Jimmy Butler demanded a trade. Tibbs wants to work it out, right? He wants Jimmy Butler to stay. He believes, like I believe, if Jimmy Butler would have never went down with an injury, with about a month to go in the season, the Minnesota Timberwolves would have never been an 8th seed, right? Because they were competing for 3rd or 4th for most of the year. And if they would have been competing for 3rd or 4th, they would have had a good chance to beat a team like Oklahoma City or Utah or Portland or New Orleans in the first round. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. So Tibbs wants to bring that team back with Jimmy B and go after it again. You're not going to get better. Even if you pull that trade off, like those are a bunch of guys. I like Josh Richardson. I like Bam. I like Gordon. Gordon Dragic's okay, whatever. Justice Winslow's okay to me. Hasn't lived up to his expectations. I don't think he's working hard enough. But to be like, yo, we trading Jimmy Butler a couple of days. You're bringing in 5 or 6 new guys. There is no way in heck with all those new bodies you're going to be ready to compete in the Western Conference. Night in, night out, you can play the Warriors, the Rockets, the Lakers now with LeBron and company. I mean, some of these young teams are getting better. The Thunder got better. It's just not enough time to implement all that. Tibbs going to have to essentially change his whole strategy up to this season if you bring in some of those guys. And I think it would at least take a training camp to just kind of get acclimated to each other, build chemistry, which is a real thing. People liking each other is a real thing. Getting to know each other is a real thing. Knowing how guys like the basketball, where they like it at. These are real things. This is not a video game. We always make trades in association on 2K a couple days before the season. We can do that. This is real life, and people need to gel. And Minnesota's asking price is entirely too high right now at this present time. I don't think they can get a deal done. I see Jimmy Butler having a report, and he's not going to be happy. But I'm not going to lie. I used to play basketball. I used to get into it with my friends. Me and my friends were really close growing up. Some of our best games were when we already put all our feelings on the table, and we didn't like each other at the time. Right? It brought out the best of us because we didn't want to, like, when you don't like a person or when you're into it with a person, you now go 10 times harder. You either go 10 times harder to not be the person that, like, makes a mistake during a game, or you just give up on the court. And I don't expect Jimmy Butler to give up for an entire season, or Wiggins to give up for an entire season, or Karl-Anthony Towns, he just got paid. I don't expect these guys to give up for an entire season. I think it could bring the best basketball out of those guys. You got a very energized and motivated Derrick Rose on that roster still. I like what he gave you last year. Nobody's an idiot. Everybody knows Jimmy Butler didn't want to be there. I think it could bring out the best of that team. It's either going to bring out the best or they're going to struggle to win games. Right? It's nowhere in between, right? They're just not going to be a team next year. This is going to be either really good or really bad. I'd bring them back. I like Josh Richardson. Again, I'm kind of shocked Miami at this point in time even went ahead and pulled the trigger on Josh Richardson. When you get to the point when you're getting medical records of Jimmy Butler, it's gotten back to Josh Richardson that he's been involved in trade talks. He's a smart dude. I went to school with the guy. Like, yo, I'm sure he knows. Like, yo, I know my name's in some news. I kind of want to ignore the noise, but he's a human. And you're talking about making him trade teams a week before the season starts. So I mean, I'm sure that's not going over great in that Miami locker room, but it's a business, and here we're at with it. I just can't believe Minnesota got that arrogant to want all those pieces. I really like Jimmy Butler. I don't love Jimmy Butler. You're asking for a lot when you're not playing with leverage right now. I'll keep you guys up to date when more stuff breaks in this crazy story. Jimmy Butler is still out there on the market. Not a lot of interest. And Minnesota's kind of screwing over the one team that does have an esteemed amount of interest. The other team is the Rockets, but they just don't have enough pieces to get this deal done up and down. Miami does, if Minnesota can stop asking for so dang much. I'm out.